Good evening, everybody. Just recording a quick video message to go alongside my letter, which you'll be receiving shortly via Reduc if you haven't already. Goodness me, here we go again. I really didn't expect a closure of this duration. I can honestly say I was absolutely gutted when the Prime Minister said that it would be February half term. I was kind of expecting a 2-week closure after some rumblings and the Scottish announcements. I certainly wasn't thinking of 6 weeks. So I'm with you all with that kind of shock and disappointment. So just a couple of bits and pieces. Much of it is very similar to the last time we were closed. If you remember that long ago, it seems like an absolute lifetime ago, doesn't it? But just to take you through a couple of things, contact with school, all communication contacts remains the same. If I can ask that you still notify us of positive cases at closure@oedge.net. That's even if you're not at school, just because our local authority asked that we report positive cases to them. We have also enabled messaging between teaching staff and parents again, so you are able to contact your class teacher, which we felt was important whilst we're not all at school together. There's a paragraph in there about safeguarding. You know, we are here for you, and for the children, obviously, that our kind of statutory duty for safeguarding remains. So if you have any concerns either about your own children or about families, then please do pass that on, and we will follow that up as best we can. Free school meals. We are hugely aware of the financial pressures that the pandemic has put on many families, with families being furloughed or people even being made redundant. And so we know that some people may now be eligible for free school meals where they may not have been previously. Mr Wilson's going to send out a detailed letter about that later on in the week, so please look out for that if you feel like you may be eligible. Families who are in receipt of means-tested free school meals, so not the universal, but for means-tested free school meals, you'll get supermarket vouchers as you did last year. So they're not quite up and running yet with Edenred, the people who supply the vouchers, but as soon as they are, we'll get them out to you. In terms of learning, hopefully you've all managed to have a look at the VLE today, and you should have all heard from your teachers at this point. We have moved towards using Google Classrooms for some of the older children to submit work so that the feedback can be given. But Tapestry will continue to run for the younger children. So there's a little bit to get used to, but please let us know, shout up if you need any support with the technical side of things. We are also able to support with devices and internet access. We've been given some SIM cards by Vodafone, and I understand that a number of the other phone companies are now doing additional data for free for anyone who's needing to use data on smartphones, for example, for home learning. We also have a number of Chromebooks in school. Now, we do not have an unlimited supply because we need to keep some in school for the children who are learning here, because they are accessing the same content as children who are learning from home. However, if you're really stuck for devices, please do get in touch, and we'll do our best to support you with that. Obviously, we know now that this period of closure is going to be a minimum of 6 weeks. They're talking about March, but at the moment, I don't think about that, to be honest. And so there is the absolute expectation that children will engage with online learning during this time. So if there's anything we can do to support you, then please do let us know. We really do understand the difficulties of engaging in the home learning, particularly with the younger children, that concentration can be difficult. So it's important that you work around your family and what works best for you, but I do absolutely implore you to get into a routine where you can. That will help the children to kind of understand when is work time and when is play time. You might want to think about, reward systems or the children accruing time for engaging in their online learning, for example. But little and often can be really helpful as well, particularly if children are struggling to engage. Remote learning plan is on the website, so there's one of the tabs, information, and then coronavirus, and it's one of the documents on there, so that's there for you to look at. We have had a couple of queries about online lessons, or live lessons. That's not something that we're looking at doing at the moment. We do understand that some schools have chosen to go down that route. However, there are a number of safeguarding implications. We've also got a number of families who are sharing access to devices, and if you imagine, year 3 are going to be on at 9, then year 4 have got to be on at 10, and then year 6 at 10:30. It would be an absolute nightmare to try and organise for year groups to work separately, and then those children who are sharing a device or don't have consistent access to technology aren't going to be able to access that learning as well. So we are continuing with the video snippets from teachers, and there will be video access and resources to support the teaching and learning during this time. I've just put on there again, just if there are any difficulties with accessing learning at home, then please do contact us and we will do our very best to support. Some of the children will be bringing home learning packs, particularly lower down the school where they may need that more physical resource. But if, for example, you don't have any paper at home, or you're struggling with resources, then please get in touch and we'll do our very best to help out. A little bit of good news in terms of pressure perhaps. The government have just announced today that Key Stage 2 SATs have now been cancelled completely, and there were some slight changes to it announced before Christmas, but now they're saying there will not be any end of Key Stage assessments. They haven't currently mentioned phonics in Year 1 or the end of the foundation stage assessments, but we will no doubt hear from them in due course. It doesn't necessarily change what we do in school, because we are committed to supporting the children to move on to the next stage of their education, and to do that we cover the national curriculum. So it doesn't make an enormous difference to us, but it's a little bit of a because obviously the children will have missed that time in school. So that's kind of all from me. That's all that's in all the letters. Obviously there's more detail. I just wanted to say thank you again for your support. We've had an overwhelmingly positive response to the news from Monday's closure, and I really do appreciate that. It makes our jobs at school so much easier if we have the support of our families. We have had an overwhelming number of people ask for critical worker places, almost 120 requests. So school is far busier than it was in March last year, where we sort of some days we had very few children at all, some days up to 20. We're now looking at sort of triple figures, at around 100 children, and some days slightly more than that as well. So we really are sort of fit to bursting. But our support for children learning from home remains, and just once again, please do get in touch if there's anything we can do to support. I will be in touch no doubt soon. Take care and stay safe.